Morning, morning. How are you doing? How is everybody? Happy Monday. Morning, Comfortably Crumbs. Morning, Robert. Morning, Pallades. Morning, Mumble. Good name. New member, Mumble. Well done. Welcome aboard. Well, can't talk this morning. Morning, Mumo. How are we doing? Morning, Paul. Paul can't talk either. He says, good morning. Morning, FTNet. How are we doing? Sorry, I'm just, one sec. I'm not organised. I'm just doing something here with this. Sorry, I started an evaluation with another prop firm this week, on Friday rather. Just trying them out basically. They got TradingView integration in their charts. So I was just curious because to see what spreads they give with the indices. So I'm going to do a little bit of ORB trading on this morning as well. So just quickly, while the open is happening, morning Virginia, morning Wischek. Sleep deprived affects the area of the brain responsible for speech. That's funny you should say that, Paul, because I was up at 3:30 this morning. That is basically what it is. I was up at 3:30, so yeah. Morning, it's time. Can you please spend a few extra minutes on drawdown once again? I can, but it's a bit of a broad subject, drawdown. So you'll have to give me some examples of what you want to look at, really. So let me just quickly whiz over the news before the 5-minute ORB goes in. There's quite a lot this week. It's a really, really busy week for news. So today we've got nothing. So absolutely dead today, news-wise. We've got jolts tomorrow, which is not a lot. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't. We'll have a look. But yeah, that's tomorrow afternoon, half an hour after market open for the US session. Then Wednesday, the news really kicks off. So Wednesday, we've got CPI for the Australian dollar in the morning. Then we go through to non-farm employment change about 3/4 of an hour before market open. So that will potentially put some moves in. So let me just shut that up, my front door. We've got GDP for the US dollar coming out an hour before market open. Sorry, that's an hour and a quarter before market open, the employment change. Then quarter an hour after market open on Wednesday, we've got the overnight rate for Canada, which is forecast to come out as expected, same as before. We've got the press conference at 3:30. So that's when we find out what the forward guidance is for the Canadian dollar. And then we've got the interest rates for the Fed coming out on 7 o'clock. So huge moves potentially on this Wednesday. So we've got a CPI number, followed by preliminary non-farm, followed by the GDP figure, followed by the interest rate for the Canadian, followed by the press conference for Canadian, followed by the Fed rate. So this Wednesday is just utter chaos. There's so much news, mainly focused around US dollar and CAD, obviously. Then we go into Thursday, and then we basically on Thursday, we've got the Bank of Japan rate. They're forecast to stay the same at 0.5%. We go into Canadian GDP straight after that, then into PCE for the US dollar, which is an hour before the market open. And then on Friday, we basically go into non-farm payroll and the PMI. So it's absolute chaos this week. Interest rate followed by inflation, followed by interest rate, followed by GDPs, followed by non-farm payroll. So it's going to be a manic one. The dollar this week could really shift direction. So we've been looking for a reason for the dollar to sort of take off. So there's potential for that to happen this week. The Fed, I don't think, are going to change the rates, but you never know. They're under a lot of pressure, especially Powell at the moment. And Trump sort of hinted last week that he'd had a chat with Powell and maybe twisted Powell's arm to drop. I don't think it was going to happen, but we might find that they come out a little bit more bearish this week because they will be looking to drop those rates. Forecast potentially for September might bring it forward. So we'll have to wait and see. So there's your news this week. Absolutely manic. Over the weekend, we've not had a lot of news. Nothing much has hit, really. The main thing, obviously, this week was the Euro agreement. The trade deal with the Europeans didn't happen. So, hang on, reached deal with the EU. When was this? 27th, yesterday. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, so they did do a deal. So they reached a deal with the EU last night. Okay, 6:30. Invest 600 billion more than previously in the US. EU have agreed to buy 750 billions worth of energy. Okay, so it's an energy deal, not pharma, military gear. Okay, 15% deal on autos. Okay. Right. So it looks like it's positive for both. No movement off of it this morning. So, okay, I didn't see that come out. I haven't had a chance to look at the news this morning, so I didn't see that come out last night. Okay, so yeah, they have reached the deal. There we go. Will not drop below 15%. So it looks like it's pretty much same as everybody else got, isn't it? So nothing particularly exciting. Right, let's have a look at ORBs. So short on the DAX, short on the FTSE. Let's hit the short button there. Buy. No, I want to sell. What? Don't know this terminal. It's new to me. How do I adjust my stop and TPs? No, can't adjust TPs and stop losses. Oh, what a lovely system this is. Really? You can't drag a TP or a stop loss? Wow. Okay. Do I have to adjust it down here or something? Edit position. Oh my God. How antiquated. Okay. This is a new prop firm, basically. They basically do this thing, which is an evaluation for $9. So I thought, for $9, I'll have a go. I haven't really had a chance to look at the platform. I don't use TradingView, obviously. So, and this looks absolutely terrible. It looks like you've got to manually adjust everything. There's no drag and drop. Why has my stop loss disappeared now? Oh, you drag it there. Look, there we go. Drag it over there. Okay, fine. So yeah, we'll have a play around with that. Anyway, so yes, so there's your news for the weekend. So it looks like we might get some decent movement this week on the US dollar. Now that all these trade deals are out of the way, it frees up the US dollar and the markets in general to be basically more normal. So we've had these trade deals and these trade threats hanging over everybody for months and months now. The EU was the last big one that needed to get over the line, and obviously that finally happened yesterday. So it seems like we might get back to some normal price action, which means that normal news should trigger normally market movement. So we've been having this instance of the last month or so where we've had news events coming out and the market has just gone, bleh. No, not interested. They're not interested in any long-term speculation. So now we've got these deals in place. We may see more scorecarding work going on in banks and institutions and get more movement back to normal. So hopefully we'll start seeing a little bit more normalized movement on RSIs and ADRs. But we will wait and see what happens. This is Trump. Trump can change his mind at any moment. So as we know. Right, let's have a quick look where we're going. So FTSE short break is on. Gap fills to the downside on both today. So there's your gap from Friday. Behind my head, you can't see it, but there is a gap. So that's Friday close. So my partial close is going for the gap fill to the downside for the DAX. The FTSE is very much the same. I'm just going to move my target up slightly on that one. Just if we can get down to here, basically, I'm just looking for that gap fill close basically today. So that's today's move. So we'll see where we go with those at the open. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Discard. you have to click on the TP and the stop. I see. Okay, fine. So learning new platforms is always fun. Okay, I'm going to add some more. Break continues. Just trying to get a quick profit. Just trying to pass it quick, basically. Right, let me just catch up on the chat. Then we'll have a look at the FX side of things. Mumble, no, that's me, Sebastian. I changed the name again because Discord support says because I still can't access the member section. Okay, so you've now I'm losing track, Mumble. You've got so many names. Have you found that your manual DD on Position Trader is more reliable than auto DD? No idea. Can't really answer that. Don't know. You're asking me if my discretion is better than an automated version. I have no idea. How do I answer that? I don't really have an answer for you on that one. Morning, electrician. Vitaly, DAX short. Yes. Which firm is that? Trading Pit? No, it's called. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. It's some firm that offers a $9 evaluation. It just came up, and I thought I'll have a go at that for $9. I've no idea what it's called. Trading something. Trading funds. It's this one. Trading funds. Them. You can't do. You only get one nine. It's not showing me a $9 one because I've had mine. You can only have one of them. But yeah, them. Go and have a look if you want to have a look. Trading funds, they're called. I've no idea if they're any good. They don't offer MT5 on evaluation. They only offer this thing, which is their own proprietary platform running on TradingView. So yeah, pass. I've no idea what they're like. Why have I not got any data on the DAX? Oh, there we go. What's this? It's a huge gap in the data. Look, 6:50 on the 25th of July until 6 p.m. on the 27th of July. That's Sunday, isn't it? They separate Sunday trading on the DAX. Weird is that? Sorry, I just want to adjust my TP down. Oh, don't want to take profit yet. Okay, platform. Yeah. So yeah, that's what they're called. Have a look. I've no idea what they're like. They might be absolute charlatans, a load of rubbish, but you know, for $9, I was like, yeah, I'll have a go at that. So I stuck an oil trade on, and I stuck a obviously that DAX trade on this morning. So we'll see. They offer all the indices. Spreads look pretty good to me. Look, they've got really tight spread on the FTSE. Whether you get this in live trading in funded trading or not, I don't know. But the spread's not that bad. Haven't looked at the US indices in US trading session, but the DAX is a really nice tight spread. So I kind of like the spread on the DAX. We'll see. They're like all prop firms, you know. They come, they go. How they pay out, I don't know. But they suddenly came across my radar, so I thought I'll have a go. SIH didn't take pre-market range for the FTSE, but did for the DAX. Any reason you can think of? Ranges are not big enough? Don't know. Can't answer that one. Have a look at your logs. Morning, Elevated. How are we doing? Right. So while that's playing out, we'll have a look at FX. ADR on Euro Swiss this morning. So there's a big drop there. Let's have a look at what that is. If that's the Euro or Swiss. So weak Euro this morning. Not massively weak. Just seeing if that is money coming into the Swiss franc. Aussie Swiss is down. Pound Swiss not really gone anywhere. US Swiss, bit of a whipsaw. Not quite sure what that is, but Euro down, and obviously Swiss franc's got a little bit of strength coming into it. So we'll have to see what happens with the Euro today and the dollar, because obviously this is new territory now. We've got this trade deal in place. Whether this is good or bad for the Euro, we'll have to wait for the banks to decide. So it seems to me like obviously the market isn't particularly keen at the moment on the Euro. But we'll wait and see what happens for the rest of the day. Obviously, today is a no news day. So any movement you see today is just normal market movement. So it's basically just going to be the market selling off or buying the Euro, depending on what it thinks. At the moment, it does look weak, doesn't it? So that's really annoying. I didn't get another trade on the Euro CAD up there. Spreads would have been too big this morning up there. Right, so we'll go through all the pairs this morning. We'll have a whiz through everything and see where everything's at. Euro Swiss obviously is your only ADR so far today. So there's a potential long opportunity out of this propulsion gap today. But obviously bear in mind, we do not know what the market's going to make of this Euro deal. So once they've sort of analysed it, looked at what the spending's going to be, they will decide whether or not that is likely to be bullish or bearish for the Euro moving forward. At the moment, it looks like the decision obviously is bearish, but we'll wait and see. RSIs today, Euro Pound is extended to the up, or was extended to the upside. So you would have had to get on that during the Asian session, or you may have been in it from Friday. So that's coming down very nicely. We looked at this level on Friday. This is a yearly high. So we did pierce through it on Friday, the yearly high, and we obviously gapped up this morning ever so slightly, but you can see that's the yearly high. We hit it on Friday, and at sort of a few hours before market close, we didn't really make a lot of progress, but that could well be a very, very nice double top opportunity there. So you're getting a reversal alert now on the hourly. There we go, it's in. So that's the last kind of move down that we had on Friday. It's a bit of a gap fill, so it's a little bit tricky reversal alert up there, but that is your reversal alert for shorts into that. So there's a potential for a big pullback on this now, especially if the market doesn't like this Euro. It's a big collapsible. So we'll wait and see what happens with it. So yeah, it's that's your RSI extension on the 4 hourly. You've got another one on the pound New Zealand, which is just hit. It's already bounced out, so you've missed that one. So that was a 4 hour RSI extension, but it's gone. And then the pound US dollar, that's also extended on your hourly, but only just. So I got a long in that from Friday. So I entered long position on Friday down here. I'm just looking for a 50% retracement, just a quick scalp out. There we go. It's not $9. You pay for the evaluation, 66 if you pass and decide to proceed. No, it's not 66 if you pass. It's 400 if you pass. Have a look at the rules. So you pay basically you pay $9. Yeah. So I'm doing a one-step evaluation with 50K. Or am I doing a flex challenge? Yeah, I'm doing a flex challenge. Yeah. So I'm doing a 50K flex challenge. This one. So basically it's one step. I need to hit 6%. I can do it in today. I can lose 4% of the account. And if I pass, or if I hit the target, I have to pay $441, not $66. 441. So that's what it cost me. So basically, what it is, it's just to drag you in. It's basically, what do they call it? Not a trap. I can't remember what they call it. It's in marketing terms, it's got a name basically. So you pay a minimal amount of money to get you basically in their email system. I get bombarded at least twice a day by them now, and I have all weekend. So I've received about 8 emails after signing up on Friday already, and most of them are giving me 30 to 50% off evaluations. So I'm not holding out much hope. Those types of companies tend to be crap, but it's $9 basically to get you in their database. So you get a free evaluation. In effect, that's the way I look at it. It's £9 for an evaluation. And if I pass, I have to pay $441. So basically, I'm buying instant funding. That's all this is. You pay a minimal fee for the opportunity to buy instant funding if you can prove you can hit 6%. This is why I'm saying, oh, look at the spreads they give you. Aren't they tight and lovely? Are they going to be like that actually when you get an account? Not sure. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens with it. But just move that stock back up as well. Be too tight on that. So yeah, there we go. Right, let's have a look at how we're doing on these. I think we're going to do the gap fills on these. We're very, very close on the FTSE. So should be able to get a partial on the FTSE. Should be nice, easy breaks today. Pay for Friday. Friday was $1,000 loss. Not great breaks Friday. It was a bit whippy. Right, so I'm going to whiz through everything today. RSIs, obviously, we've looked at what we've got extended. ADRs, obviously, same thing. So Aussie, New Zealand, still stuck in this at the moment. I've been stuck in it for the last week. Well, 2 weeks, really. Just sideways. So we've had this big, strong push up, mean reverting this leg here. We just kind of stalled out, basically. So it's contracting quite nicely at the minute. So I'm hoping that we just get a continuation back down into propulsion. So I'm looking for them to test the monthly high, basically, down here. So I think there's plenty of room on this. There's no reason why either of these should be massively stronger than the other. The Australians obviously didn't change their interest rates as they said they were going to. So that made it short-term bullish, and it is still really bullish. However, obviously, it's not going to be that bullish because they didn't change their interest rates. They just kept them as they were. So news-wise this week, we've got the Aussie retail coming up, but the CPI tomorrow is going to be the key one. So I think the reason the market isn't pushing that interest rate freeze is we are forecasting for the CPI number to start to drop down, which means they will drop that interest rate. So although they didn't do it this time round, it's still on the cards. So I don't think we're going to get a massive bull run on the Aussie. So I'm quite happy to hold that at the moment. So I'm just watching what's going on with the DAX and the FTSE at the minute. I'm kind of stalling out a little bit. So yeah, so happy to be short on that, looking for a pushback down into there. The market structure is obviously bullish at the moment. So looking for potentially a bull continuation. But that CPI number, if it comes out dramatically different, i.e. if we do not get the 0.8 and we get a 0.7 or lower, that Aussie is going to drop very, very fast. So there's a good chance tomorrow morning when I wake up, down here somewhere. And I've got a fairly decent size on this one as well. So I'm fingers crossed this one's going to pay for the month. Aussie US, we did poke our heads out the highs straight up into resistance. So we looked again at this level here last week. So this is previous support turn resistance. It's not a particularly strong support resistance. It's reacted at it a few times, but it's not one of those levels which is like pinpoint accurate. And then we had the most recent high, which is the previous accumulation, but we flip-flopped around this for quite a few times in the past. So this is your most recent upside sort of support, if you like, previously, which has bounced out nicely last week. But I'm not really interested in getting into this at the moment because I've still got the Aussie short with the Aussie New Zealand. So I didn't really want to get overexposed on it. But that was your short entry last week. And we looked at obviously the ATRSI extension on the 4 hour, being the holy grail, if you like, constantly pulling off the top of that. Pound Swiss, that's just, pound Swiss. Swiss yen is completely stuck. We're back up at the weekly highs. So there's last week's high, which we're rejecting so far this week. Obviously, it's only Monday, but we are really not able to get through that high from Friday, which is high of last week. There's your previous weekly high, straight into that and rejecting this morning. So market not able to push through that high, but also we are not able to start a pullback on this leg either. So it is really, really stuck. I'm going to move the Swiss yen down because it's not on my pairs list now. I'm not going to be trading that at the moment. But yeah, so that's kind of stuck up there at the minute. If this rejects this high again up here, I think there's a very good chance we'll break that low. Basically, the market is always looking for new areas to trade at. If it can't get through a level, it will test to see if the opposite level will break and if we want to go short. So if this holds today and we break back down into this area here, I get the feeling we're probably going to come and test last week's low and we'll probably break it. But we'll wait and see. There's so much profit on the table from this last sort of 3 weeks worth of movement. It's even longer than that, actually, isn't it? Sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 weeks worth of movement there. We're looking for a profit take leg on that. So this is your previous monthly high. This is the monthly high last month. That's your previous month. So worst case scenario, we should be able to get a bounce out of that. But best case scenario, much, much further back down. We've broken out the lows on those. We should sort of hit target or just about hit target on the FTSE. I'm just going to move that up to make sure I get a partial take on it. Profit I've got on this. I don't even know how to read profit on this. 550. What's my target? 6%. Yes, I'm going to have to get the calculator out. It's been a very long night. I was up very early. 3 grand. Of course it is. Really foggy today. I hate it doesn't show you what your actual 450, and I can only do one at a time. That's 500. Oh, how can I see my other target then? Oh, 460. Okay. That's £1 grand, basically. Okay, leave that running. So I'm just going to take partial on both of these, just in case. It's a big, strong push back down. There you go. So partial taken on the FTSE. It's not actually got to the level I want to do break-evens at, so I'm just going to move that to break-even manually. Partial taken on the DAX. Also going to just move that manually to break-even. So 1,400 banked. So that pays for Friday's loss. And we've got 500 running. Let me just quickly look at where I'm going to put that target. So yeah, I mean, main target obviously would be Friday's low, but I mean, highly unlikely we won't bounce out of that low. So I think what I might do is on the DAX. What should I let run? I'd let the runner go. We'll see where we go. We might have a big sell-off today. If the European markets collapse because of that deal, if they don't like that deal, this could easily be an ADR day today, couldn't it? So might as well leave that running. FTSE, downside target on the FTSE again, Friday and Thursday low. So this is your low from Friday there. That's your low from Thursday. So we've got potential if the markets are going to sell off today because I don't like what's going on with the US, to be down at those lows. So I'm just going to move the target up slightly just so that we can get it hit before we get to this area, just in case we find some buyers in this area here. And then we'll see. But we've got to break these gap fills first. So once the gaps are done, that will tell us whether or not the market's got actual momentum or if it's just reached for the gap to come back in inside the opening range. Certainly selling off hard, isn't it, this morning? So that's all good. Target hit. There we go. Job done. That oil trade's not profit. Oh, there you go. Stopped out on oil. So 400 up. There we go. Easy, isn't it? Thanks for subscribing. I can't see your name. Begins with an 8, ends in an 818 though. Relinaris. ADR Aussie CAD, ADR pound odd. Australian dollars on the move. Big strong drop on the Australian dollar. Really selling off the Aussie dollar this morning. Again, this is because of obviously tomorrow. So they are forecasting a drop in CPI tomorrow. So we might have a big down day on the Aussies today. So just be careful buying up the Australian dollar today. Right, so Euro CAD, that's coming down again off of those previous highs. So this is your previous monthly high. There. So that was we closed pretty much at the high last month. We popped our head out beginning of this month. And this is a double top at this monthly high. So this is definitely a good, strong resistance here. We've got this euro move, basically, obviously, with what's going on with Trump and the euro deal. Market not really liking that this morning. So potential for this to come straight back down into propulsion very, very quickly. So it's really unfortunate I didn't get that next position on because that would have brought my average up nicely. But my average is obviously way away at the moment on this one. So hoping for a big drop on that one, but that's a lovely double top resistance. And you've got a 4-hour 70 RSI extension on Friday. Euro Swiss just flip-flopping around at the moment. No reason to get into this at all. It's just not going anywhere. Buying off the lows previous week we looked at. You got roughly 50% of the range out of it if you took it, but wasn't great. Nothing much going on there. Euro pound, obviously, that's coming off of the yearly high. Previous propulsion, drop, retest. Yeah, so we're looking for a pullback into the 24.72 zone on that one. Really nice extension on the... If you see on the daily chart, we've been extended above the 70 RSI all month. So for the whole month, we've just been embedded up here. Big pullback on its way on this one. So we should be looking easily a 50% retracement on that leg. Worst case scenario, if you sort of push that into the future, we're looking at a sort of a flag break on it. But I think you'll probably get way back down here. I think you come down and test the 72 on this. So can't really see any sort of similar-ish. That's closest you're going to get, really. But yeah, I think we should come back and test the 72 on this. Whether we continue or not, difficult. It's very difficult to know. Pound US dollar, I have a buy on this at the moment from last week. So we got extended on the 4-hour down here. So that was the entry on Friday. I'm just looking for a 50% retracement on this. We got this double bottom bounce, basically. So this is the market reversal alert retest on the 4-hour. So there's your 4-hour reversal alert. This is your sort of retest bounce back up into there. Dollar's got to weaken and the pound's got to strengthen for it to get above this high. Not sure that's going to happen. Deals are done now. So we're falling back in line with normal fundamental territory. it's all going to be based on news. Is the FOMC statement going to be bullish or bearish? Are the CPI numbers and everything going to be good? Are non-farm payroll numbers going to be good for the dollar? We should start to see this move in line with fundamental news now. We've got all these trade deals out of the way. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one this week. But yeah, just looking for a 50% retracement on that. If you look on the hourly time frame, it's this kind of little low high there. So this area of accumulation. So I'm looking for just a failure out of that potentially, but equally we could fly, couldn't we? Dollar could collapse this week. Oil stuck. It's just not going anywhere. Absolutely stuck. Just can't get out of this range. It's just dead. So I'm holding long at the minute. Looking for a push back up again, a continuation of this basically. But it's just not able to get going. But it won't drop either. So it will make my mind up. I'm either going to drop 5% on it, or it's going to pop. And if it pops, I will get out at this high and just sort of get out basically. Don't really want to be in it. Oil price, they have capped more output. Russia's capped some output as well. So it looks like if demand stays the same, we should get higher prices. But it just doesn't seem to be able to get kick-started at the moment. You can see we're kind of pushing up ever so slightly, but it's a real gradual incline. And it's more of a sort of bearish wedge. But as I said, we've tested this area, this $60 a barrel. $60 a barrel is the price it becomes ineffective to produce and sell oil. So we've kind of tested that area already this year. So we should be looking to sort of maintain prices now, which typically would indicate it goes a little bit higher, but it doesn't seem to be able to get kick-started. Obviously, with the energy deal that they've done with Europe, I don't know whether that energy deal that Trump signed includes oil, because that is obviously going to affect the oil price. So it's to do with energy. 600 billion more than previous. EU have agreed to buy 750 billions worth of energy. What? So that could easily affect the oil price. But we'll have to look into sort of more what that is. But it doesn't really matter. It's either going to go up or down. It's not something I can control. So Aussie dollar CAD. So as you can see, all the Australian pairs coming down today ahead of the CPI number tomorrow. We're expecting that CPI number to drop. So obviously bearish. Am I still trading the SIH live? Not at the moment, no. I haven't got my VPS set up yet. Finally, seems I will be getting out of euro pound, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So yeah, Aussie CAD, we're just breaking out Friday's low. So these propulsion areas here, if we're going to remain bullish market structure, you want to be looking for buys out of here. So if we get to 125 to 150 ADR today, that's an area to look at for buys. You may be extended on your hourly down there as well. But obviously, Australian dollar is selling off ahead of the news. So if that CPI number comes out negative tomorrow, it's off we go. So energy from US gas and oil, I think, yeah. So I think that will be oil. Whether or not it affects the oil price is difficult to tell. The US are less. They have less control over oil pricing. It's more the Saudis that control that. So the production caps tend to be put on Russia and Saudi oil rather than on US oil and Canadian oil. So I'm not sure how much that euro deal will affect oil price. They will be buying less from that area, obviously, the Europeans. So it may well do. So we'll have to wait and see, but you never really tell. Pound New Zealand ADR as well. Aussie and New Zealand selling off hard. Aussie Swiss coming down nicely. So there's your double top bounce with RSI extension. So that was a lovely little trade. Reversal alert there. So I'd be watching for buys down in this area here. So if you get down to 150, 175 ADR area, you won't get there today. I mean, you might do, but it's going to have to sell off very hard today to get down there. That's a good area to buy from. Euro pound just hit ADR as well. Cool, we're all on the move this morning, aren't we? So there you go. There's your ADR on euro pound, really selling that euro off this morning. Aussie dollar yen, that's just starting to come down as well. So double top here. So looking for a push into propulsion, 125 ADR, watch for a bounce out of that. Other than that, you're looking at the monthly level, which is this previous propulsion move, which broke that high. Actually, that one's the one that broke that high. So you got this area here, which is where we sort of took off from. That propulsion gap is the main one, as you can see, because that's the one that broke the high. But yeah, so anywhere down here is going to be a very nice buy. But you got plenty of bounce points before you get anywhere down there. So kind of sideways, everything's sideways at the moment. So, you know, we're coming into summer trading. So support resistance works fantastically well in summer trading because the market can't find new highs and lows. Basically, we get to areas where we've been buying up before and they just rebuy it. So any of that type of movement is what we're looking at the moment for the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks. Thanks for subscribing, Connor. Welcome aboard. Aussie US, get all these Aussie dollars. Apart from the one I'm in, obviously, apart from what I'm trading, all the Aussie dollars are coming down hard because I chose Aussie New Zealand. CAD Swiss coming out of propulsion. Higher low. And a lower high going in. So we are contracting ever so slightly. But again, it's just a big range. Everything's in a range at the minute. Everything is just stuck. So buy the lows, sell the highs, and just keep doing that until the market proves you wrong. That's really all we can do. Sorry, just one sec. Just watching the FTSE come down into this propulsion gap and reject. Eight. Just going to tighten my trailer up on the DAX. So I'm going to trail the DAX a little bit tighter. FTSE's really selling off today. I'm just going to just take profit a little bit earlier on the FTSE. It's going to bounce at some point. So if we do get down into that area, I'm just going to take that one off and then I'll leave the DAX running with a tight trailer on it today. See what happens. So CAD Swiss going nowhere. CAD Yen, again, very, very sideways. All these yen pairs for the last 2 weeks. Can't really do much with them at all. Buy the lows, sell the highs. Any RSI extensions are probably going to work. All the time we're staying in these range-bound moves and we haven't got any big trends going on. Any RSI extension is going to pay you, but it's only going to pay you sort of 3/4 to an ADR. It's not going to be massive moves, obviously. So all the yen pairs, or whiz for all the yen pairs, they're all sideways at the moment. Euro's pushed out ever so slightly because we've had a bit of a strong euro, but as you can see from the rest of these yens, they're just going nowhere, sideways. So yen really lost all its strength at the moment. We've got the interest rate decision coming out on Thursday. So that is not forecast to change. The monetary policy statement is likely to say that they're going to go up another 0.25% shortly. So we may well get some bullish stance coming in on Thursday because they are likely and expected to go up to 0.75. So that will obviously rally the yen, which means we might get some strength in that yen, but that's going to be coming through later this week. So I'll be much more inclined to look for sells than buys at the moment. So if we do continue to push up, obviously look for any high bounces you could potentially get into on any of these yen pairs. Why is the euro odd gone up there? CAD Swiss we covered, CAD yen, Swiss yen. Euro odd. So euros, you can see obviously the euro's weak this morning, but it's pushing up against the Australian dollar, which shows you how weak that Aussie is so far this morning. So euro, big question mark at the moment. I want to give it a day really to see, or a couple of days really, to see what the market makes of this new deal. They need to absorb the numbers. They need to look at what the costs to the Eurozone are going to be. Obviously, if the Europeans are going to suddenly have to foot a load of extra expense in the US dollar, they've got to find that money from somewhere. So it may be that they rejiggle interest rates. They may do all sorts of things. So it would be good to have something come out from Lagarde this week to sort of give a little bit of guidance as to monetary policy moving forward now that this deal is in place. So we've got nothing really from the euro this week, as you can see. We've got the CPI flash estimates this week, but that's it. We've got CPI for the German preliminaries, but yeah, there's just nothing really to give us any guidance this week. So it'd be good for Lagarde to tell us, what her sort of thoughts are on it. So for the moment, it's very difficult to give any kind of gauge as to whether or not we're going to be bullish or bearish moving forward. But the market so far this morning obviously isn't being particularly bullish, is it? New Zealand dollar as well on the move. You can see the euro pushing up against New Zealand, so those are both dropping. But euro really coming down against everything else this morning. So really hard to sort of judge. If you get any RSI extensions on the European pairs, they will bounce obviously at some point, but we may well see sustained selling for a few days this week while the market sort of readjusts itself a little bit. So good support resistance areas. There you go, euro US dollar. There's your ADR just triggered. So watch obviously for good support resistance areas on anything to do with euro as we come to them. If you've got extensions on RSI and you're hitting a resistance or support at the same time, going to be good bounce points. But long-term view, very difficult to call at the moment. Pound smashing its way up against the Australian dollar this morning. Obviously, Aussie is massively weak this morning. So you've got an ADR opportunity there going in. We're through Friday's high. There's Thursday's high, which is this propulsion gap here, which isn't a great one. You've got nice resistance here to the upside. So that's your upside resistance, which we've tested a couple of times. And then we accumulated and broke through it. We didn't come back up and retest that. So somewhere between 150 to 175 ADR, if we were to get there today, would be a very nice little short area up there. Keeping an eye on what the indices are up to. Pound CAD sideways, no opportunities on this one for ages. As you can see, it's just not moving, selling the highs. But you've had no signals on this. Last signal for longs was kind of down here. It's not going anywhere. So lovely upside targets. There's so much upside targets on this. This is obviously the start of the move down. We retested it and resold that off very, very, very quick. So this propulsion gap here, as a worst case scenario, should really be tested. These are pretty much a given. We'll be coming back up to those in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, very easy buys, but last signals were down here, and since then we've gone nowhere for 2 weeks. So again, this market's just stuck. It's been stuck for weeks. So you have got nice double monthly bottom coming up. We're making new highs monthly. So it looks to me as if it's a lovely buy. Canadian, obviously, commodities, oil. If the US is going to be getting a load of oil out into Europe, it means that Canada might need to up its supply to fill the gap elsewhere, which means that that's potentially going to be sort of, well, could be bullish, but it's going to make it more difficult for them to sell their oil, obviously, which is potentially bearish for the Canadian. If the US has suddenly struck a massive deal with Europe, their oil's not going there. So likely move is we get a slight bull move against the Canadian dollar everywhere, basically. But we'll wait and see. We need to see what the market makes of this European thing. It's all new. Pound Swiss. Don't really know what to make of the Swiss franc at the moment. Should be bearish based on interest rates, but as you can see, it's not. It's really, really, really strong, the Swissy at the moment. So you had an extension to the downside there for a push up into propulsion. It's obviously coming down very, very hard, the pound against the Swiss. Excuse me. But all the bounces are working at the moment. So it's a case of just waiting for signals. Market structures are very sort of strong against the Swiss, but it is there, so you got good movement on it. Lots of upside targets, but there's no real reason for this to be massively strong at the moment. So welcome aboard, Mekmas. Mekmas 1. Sorry, lots of new subscribers today. That's good. So yeah, looking for a push up into propulsion. That'd be a nice little sell area potentially if we're going to continue this downtrend. But from a position trading perspective, it's incredibly expensive to short this. So, I have shorted it a couple of times, which I got out of last week, but longs kind of are your cheaper option for position trading. Support-wise, New Zealand US ADR. Support-wise, you haven't really got anything until we get down to sort of 150 ADR. So this is your yearly low so far. So if we do get to there, we are likely to get a bounce out of that yearly level. How big and strong it will be, waits to be seen. But I mean, that's a massive bear move if it gets all the way down there. Just coming out of a 4-hour extension. It's extended on the daily below RSI. Excuse me, it's my tiredness creeping in. Which we've been there for a whole month basically extended, but as you can see, we're not really making any progress. So you got an ever such a slight downward move there and bullish divergence. So definitely bullish. RSI pushing up on lower prices. So if it does get down to there, I think we're going to get a really good springboard move on this. Real good bounce, but we'll see if we get there. You can sort of, I mean, it's a bit late now, but so I was going to say start buying it up, but kind of missed it today. So you could look for some pullbacks on that into 15-minute reversal alerts. You haven't actually had a 15-minute reversal alert yet. Very odd price action. So yeah, you're just about to get a 15-minute reversal alert. So look for a pullback today. Try and get in on a new leg on that. Pound yen we've looked at. Pound New Zealand's ADR. New Zealand dollar's weak, obviously today, along with the Australian dollar. So that's pushing up from this propulsion to the downside. So again, lovely monthly levels coming up. We've got another one back there as well. So this whole area here is where we're buying. We haven't even got to it. So you could start scaling into longs here. Again, you've kind of missed it. You needed to be in this on Friday. But yeah, that was your 4-hour extension on Friday down there. Although you probably would have got in there on that 3-bar reversal. That would have been your entry on it. So probably actually in 2. If you took that on Wednesday last week, you'd be in your second on Friday. So you'd be averaged in here somewhere in profit, pushing up into that propulsion gap there. But this has got a lot further to go to get back up to top of range, which is all these monthly levels here, that propulsion gap. So again, all sideways, so much sideways at the moment. New Zealand dropping at the moment this morning with the Australian dollar. So Aussie, New Zealand moved together. We got weakness coming in for the Australian CPI numbers, straight into that 3-week high and off. We just tapped into the low from Friday, and that's Thursday's low there. So support area coming up here, but obviously we've got these lovely big propulsion gaps to the downside. We have also got loads of propulsion gaps to the upside, but this week we've got no news for the New Zealand dollar. So there's no reason for this to do anything independently. It will move with the Australian dollar against the other pairs. So obviously Aussie and New Zealand, or both commodity pairs. One commodity goes, the others go with it. Usually Canadian will also go with it. So this is obviously setting off in anticipation of tomorrow's interest rate, and the New Zealand's going with it. Whether or not we stay going with it for the whole day and we end up with sort of 150, 200 ADRs, we'll have to wait and see. But if you do try and take an ADR reversal on any of these New Zealand or Aussie pairs today, just bear in mind the reason for this sell is tomorrow morning's news. If tomorrow's morning's news is worse than anticipated, it's just going to do another ADR tomorrow. So just be aware of that. New Zealand Swiss starting to come down, but again, the Swiss franc incredibly strong at the moment. We've been basing out down here for sort of a good 3 weeks now. It's a really odd move, this Trump move. We're just sort of flip-flopping around. It's just a really horrible pair to trade. Everything Swiss franc is really hard to trade at the moment because we've had all these safe haven runs into the Swiss, but the Swiss is weak. And it doesn't appear to be undoing any of these moves. It's just kind of grinding at the moment. So Swiss franc, not the easiest thing to trade. Yens, we've covered those sideways. New Zealand US is coming down, again, ahead of the news. Again, we also, with all these US dollar pairs, we need to wait and see what they're going to make of them. The dollar basically now has got its last major trade deal over the line. China's still a bit of an anomaly, but we are potentially sort of contracting here in the middle of a range. So you're getting to the territory where you want to start looking for longs in anticipation of that, but that's going to require a negative US. I'm not sure we're going to get a weak US dollar. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, not really a lot you can do with this. ADR, obviously short term today, it's a nice looking long. So drop down 5-minute time frame. You're not going to get a reverse alert on this. It's absolutely parabolic to the downside. So when you do get a bull candle on this and you make a new low, that's where your reverse alert is going to sit. So just wait and see if you can get some kind of bullish price action on it. But it's absolutely falling out of bed today. Aussie US the same. So these, just be careful of these Australians today. They are not happy at all. The New Zealand dollar is actually the weaker of the two. So although the news is on Australian tomorrow, the New Zealand dollar is actually weaker because Aussie's pushing up against the New Zealand dollar. Typical, the one thing that I'm in. US dollar CAD, big strong push this morning. So lovely strong dollar. So the market liking the, there you go, New Zealand dollar CAD ADR. So the market liking the US dollar deal and not liking it for the euro. So it looks like to me the market has decided the dollar's going to come out on top on this deal. So again, wait for, a decent move, basically. Some nice big extensions. Any extensions above the 80 level or below the 20 level we get on any US dollar pairs this week, probably going to be good ones to take. Because although this is going to be a strong move, it will not be long term. It will be sort of medium short term because we've got so much news on the dollar that can drive it in the opposite direction. So the danger this week of taking the opposite direction on the dollar is we get decent figures there. The CAD rate stays the same and they become bullish. That will rally the dollar. FOMC, they're bullish. Unlikely. They're more likely to be bearish, but you never know. And we get decent unemployment figures. So if the unemployment rate comes out as bullish, which it's forecast to go up, which is going to be bearish. So if it comes out at 4.1, that's going to be bullish for the dollar. So you got a very strong dollar this week off the back of that trade deal. And potentially you've got news this week. If that comes out bullish for the dollar, we could see a multi-week move start. So you've got to be a little bit careful with everything this week. It's one of those weeks where you've got lots of news happening and it's coinciding with a new trade deal. So, it's, what Trump's like. At any moment, he can just say the opposite thing and we'll be collapsing, won't we? So see what stock markets are making of this morning. I would imagine they're dropping. Interesting. Okay. So dollar normally does the opposite to the markets. I'd have thought we might have had a little bit of a rally with the dollar this morning, but it's not happening so far. So got gap scenarios on all the indices this morning. So I suspect we will grind down to the gap fills today. If we can get to the gap fills by the open, we might have a nice explosive move today. but we'll wait and see. So we'll trade that this afternoon. 2:30, I'll be back on. We'll look at the US indices. Okay, so trailers kicking in on the DAX. Not quite at that target I set on the FTSE yet. Pound odd, 125 ADR. There's your first big extension of the day. Pound odd, 125 ADR. Really, really strong move against the Australian dollar there. US dollar Swiss pushing up as well. So there we go. Lots and lots of extensions you're going to find on the RSI dash today, and the ADR dash has obviously already started to light up, but the RSI dash today, you're probably going to find we're going to get a lot of hourly RSI extensions. So look at the stronger area, 75, 25, 80, 20. I wouldn't look at maybe getting 70, 30s. We've got a lot of news this week and you get a lot of strong movement. So look for the bigger extensions. Make sure you're getting in sort of later in the moves, ideally this week. I'm going to try and get into some new positions this week, but I'm just so exposed with what I've got on and just struggling to find anything that's of any interest at the moment to get into. There was a move on the Aussie US, but as I said, I have got US dollar exposure and Aussie dollar exposure on at the moment. So it's not really anything of like substantial interest that I've managed to find to get into extra, but I will try and take some more exposure on this week. Shame I missed that because that would have got my average in, but big strong push on Euro Swiss back up. All the reversal alerts today are quite a long way away because of the strength of this move at the open. So markets are pushing back down again. Trying to anyway. So propulsion gap holding on the DAX, propulsion gap holding on the FTSE as well. There we go. Let me just catch up on the chat. These ranging markets, it's time to unleash RSI2 daily set file. Go for it. Yeah. The trouble is, when you unleash a new strategy, because you identify that it would work in a particular market range and market condition, by the time you've identified, oh, that strategy would work well, it's ready to go back to the old strategies. So, but yeah, RSI2 on the daily, probably at the moment, is good. But Aussie US 125, got 3 125 ADRs in. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got 3 125 ADRs already. So just be careful today. Market, obviously it's the Australian dollar, look. Market really, really selling off this Aussie ahead of tomorrow's CPI number. Usually when you get this sort of movement, you know, they know what's coming. Yeah, so don't be surprised to see this at a 0.7, 0.6 tomorrow, maybe, or hitting 2%. That is target. So don't forget, CPI target is 2%. When central banks hit that 2% target for inflation, they tend to really quickly drop those interest rates, which devalues obviously the currency. So I think the market is getting ready for the Aussies to turn around and say, we're at target, we will be dropping our interest rates, because they didn't drop interest rates last time, remember. The forecast for the Australian was to drop the interest rates down, and they didn't do it. So our forecast there was 3.6. We didn't. We got a freeze. So market was expecting to sell off, which is why we've had that rally on the Aussie. But if that CPI number now comes down and hits 2.1, that's pretty much a given, guaranteed 3.6 on the next one. So they're just all preemptive. Everything you see when we have news events coming up is all preemptive. They are preempting the fact that we are going to get the numbers we've been forecasting. If we do get those numbers, we won't be buying the Australian dollar anytime soon. Am I trading gold? Nope, don't trade gold. Everybody loves gold. It's because all the EA, all the con artists selling the EAs on the marketplace, they're all gold EAs, aren't they? Everyone trades gold. It's basically the dollar. You're trading the US dollar. People just don't realize it. So is the US dollar going up or down? So I can show you the chart, but I'm pretty sure it's going down because the dollar's going up. It's not going down much, is it actually? But it is going down. So it'll be selling off basically on a dollar rally because it is literally the inverse of the dollar. If the dollar's strong, gold is weak. If the dollar's weak, gold is strong because you're crossing the gold with the dollar. But it's not particularly weak. I thought it might be a bit weaker than this. You've had a reverse alert, retest, so watch this propulsion gap short, but they are buying this propulsion area from this morning. So it's either going to break that or it's going to break that. I can guarantee you within the next 3 hours or 4 hours, you'll either be broken above there or you'll have broken below there. 100% certainty one of those two things will happen. Right, I'll leave you there. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:30. We will trade the US indices, holding the DAX and the FTSE short. As I say, FTSE I'm going to get out of a little bit early today, just want to make sure I get that back. And obviously, I got a bit of a loss to recover from last week. Took $4,000 loss on Thursday, Friday. So if I can grab back, half of that today, which I'm at the moment, but if I can sort of grab 3K of that back and we get a decent break this afternoon in the US markets, and there's a good chance of that because obviously of what's gone on over the weekend, there'll be a bit of repositioning on the stock markets this afternoon probably. Oh, the other thing this afternoon as well is it's earnings fortnight and we're coming into the busy week. So who have we got? Nothing today. We had Aon post-market, pre-market on Friday. So there's nothing today earnings-wise. Tomorrow's the start of the big days. So we've got Spotify in there, United Health, PayPal's in there. We've got Starbucks tomorrow as well. We've got obviously Facebook and Ford on Wednesday. Etsy, big. ADP are big. Microsoft, obviously. Apple and Amazon are on Thursday. And we've had Google. So, it's the big week this week of earnings fortnight, which is really 3 to 4 weeks now. It's not earnings fortnight anymore. So, so potentially we've got some big moves this afternoon. So hopefully we'll be able to benefit from some of those. Right, I'll leave you there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. I'm back this afternoon at 2:30. We'll trade the US indices. Anything else you need, let me know. Other than that, I will see you next time. Have a good day.